Hey, hey. New music Monday, hey. What's up, guys? Welcome to my new music review series, New Music Monday, where I do exactly that, review new music that just came out and give you guys my thoughts and opinions about it. And yeah, all right, so we're just gonna hop right into it. Yeah, hopping this bitch like a kangaroo. Marsupial. Today I'm gonna be talking about Lil Uzi Vert and the Eternal Atake Deluxe Edition. Eternal Atake Deluxe consists of two parts, the first of which being Eternal Atake, and the second of which being Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2. After a 3-year hiatus of not dropping any projects, Lil Uzi delivers 2 albums in back-to-back weeks. Uzi dropped the highly anticipated Eternal Atake on March 6th, and then a week later drops Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2 on March 13th of 2020, therefore dropping 32 tracks in just 7 days. Eternal Atake has been one of the most highly anticipated hip-hop albums for the past few years, since its original plan released in 2018. The delays have been due to complications with Lil Uzi's record label, Generation Now. So when Uzi finally dropped this project, his fans went crazy. Eternal Atake has sold 311,000 units in its first week, making it the highest selling project since The Carter 5 back in 2018. To put that in perspective, Lil Baby's My Turn, which is currently #1 on Billboard charts, sold 192,000 units its first week, so Uzi is getting a lot of attention. With all eyes on him and his fans bumping his newest tracks, Uzi decides to double down and release the deluxe edition of Eternal Atake with 14 new tracks just a week later. Dropping 2 projects in such a short amount of time is nothing new for Uzi. In fact, Uzi did the same thing in 2016 when he dropped Lil Uzi vs. The World and The Perfect Love tape. Both got plaques. Lil Uzi vs. The World is certified platinum. Perfect Love tape is certified gold. Also, Uzi teased fans on Twitter earlier this year, saying that for him, 2020 is going to be just like 2016, and man, has he followed through on that promise. Okay, so I'm going to be breaking Eternal Atake Deluxe into 2 parts. The first part being the first 18 tracks Uzi released as part of Eternal Atake, and the second part being the 14 tracks Uzi released as Uzi vs. The World 2. Let's do it. So Eternal Atake definitely lived up to the hype, and you could just tell by the streaming numbers. It's currently the top selling hip hop album of 2020, and rightfully so. Even though people will claim that Uzi isn't doing anything different on Eternal Atake, he actually does reinvent himself in a couple of ways. Although the lyrical content is pretty similar to Uzi's past work, as he raps about expensive watches, Glocks, and fast cars, Uzi does take a new approach to song composition. The first thing I notice is that Uzi does way more rapping on Eternal Atake than he has done on any of his past albums. Uzi is known for his infectiously melodic hooks that he repeats 4, sometimes even 5 times on his tracks. And although Uzi continues to deliver catchy hooks, it's clear that he put a lot of focus on increasing the amount of rapping he does on this project. Hip Hop by the Numbers shows that Uzi is rapping about 55% of the time on Eternal Atake, which beats the Perfect Love tape by about 12%. Another strength of this album is that Uzi manages to keep his audiences engaged throughout the entirety of the album, damn near by himself. I mean, the album only has 1 feature. Sid is brought in on urgency to harmonize with Uzi during the hooks and sing a little verse about her current partner and how he's so much better than all of her exes. But other than that, it's all Uzi. Considering there's 18 tracks and the album is about an hour long, the fact that Uzi could keep his fans engaged for the whole album is pretty impressive. I think Uzi is able to do this because of the strength of his flows. Uzi offers a variety of dope flows on Eternal Atake and is able to switch between them at the drop of a dime. Hip Hop by the Numbers shows that Uzi has 15 unique flows over these 18 tracks and switches between them on an average of every 21 seconds. Uzi shows that he's more advanced than anyone else in the industry when it comes to flows. Another thing I liked about Eternal Atake is how Uzi evolves the sound throughout the albums. The first 6 tracks all use these space-themed effect samples and put heavy emphasis on the drums and 808 patterns. The next wave of songs all revolve around a more melodic sample with arps and guitars and put a little bit less emphasis on the drums, but it still knocks. And the last wave of tracks combines both of these sounds into one. Also, Uzi includes a part 2 of his smash hit Xaoc Tour Life, where he adds a little bit more instrumentation and switches up the lyrics a little bit. I know this track was very nostalgic for a lot of Uzi fans, but personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of this track. I'd rather just listen to the original song. My nose is running. Do I have coronavirus? Fuck. Overall, I give this project a 7 out of 10. Although people may think Uzi is just doing the same thing he's been doing, you can hear instances of him pushing himself to evolve his artistry while remaining consistent with his already established brand. His biggest strength is the ability to find unique flows and switch between them whenever he chooses. I'd say the worst parts of this album can all be heard on the song Pop, which has got to be the worst song by far. This is my least favorite track because at times, Uzi isn't even rapping on beat. In addition, the hook is kind of weak, the verses are kind of weak, and God, I can't stand when he repeats Balenci, 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 Balenci. The delivery is so whiny, it just gives me the chills. I don't like it. Alright, now, switching gears to the second part of Eternal Atake Deluxe, Lil Uzi vs. the World 2. I like it, but I don't think it's as good as the first part of Eternal Atake. It doesn't continue the narrative established on Eternal Atake or experiment with new sounds, and it's much more of a mindless listen. Uzi reverts back to his roots here, and it sounds much more like a continuation of his 2016 vibe than a continuation of Eternal Atake. For that reason, I think Uzi vs. the World 2 should have been dropped as a standalone project. The only overlap between the two parts is the space theme. The lyrics do stay on brand as well as Uzi continues to rap about watches, cars, and getting head. The songs are still catchy, but Uzi doesn't diversify his flows nearly as much as he did on the first part of Eternal Atake. The best part of this project is definitely the beats, the features, and Uzi's hooks. Most of the beats were produced by two industry greats, Oogie Mane and Pierre Bourne, so you know it's gonna slap. Anytime you hear the you know it's gonna slap. You know it's gonna slap. In addition, Uzi has features on 8 of these 14 tracks. It's a nice contrast from the first part of Eternal Atake, where it was literally just Uzi. Also, most of the features are pretty good, the best of which being 21 Savage on Yessirskiii, Chief Keef on Bean, and Young Thug on Got the Guap. Overall though, I'd give this album a 5.5 out of 10. Slightly better than average, but I feel like Uzi is capable of so much more. I really liked the direction Uzi was going with Eternal Atake, and I do like Uzi vs. the World 2 as well, but bundling them together I feel like undermines both of these projects. It would have been better if they were released as standalone projects because they do sound very different, and Uzi vs. the World 2 would be free from the expectation to continue what Eternal Atake started. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you found it informative, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want more new music, here's some other tracks that came out this weekend. You should check them out. They're pretty good. And I'll be back next week for another New Music Monday, New Music Monday, New Music Monday, New Music Monday, All right, guys. Peace.